and welcome to our time. Welcome.
Great to have your company once again.
It is.
Did I make you laugh?
Yes, you
I'm
did.
glad of that.
You have no idea what's going on here.
Have you ever had those either phone calls at home, or sometimes you get them through your computer as an email, or you can get them from Facebook?
Annoying phone calls.
Or those, but it's usually, not usually, but often it's somebody asking for money or for you to do something for them. Well, today we're going to talk a little bit about that with Mark Brerety, some of the scams from the internet. Not to make you afraid of the internet, but just to be aware there are scams, and when you see them, don't go there. Who are you talking with?
I'm talking to Georgia Ross. She's the president of the Country Women's Association.
Are they still relevant?
They are, very much so.
And are young girls involved
They
still?
are, which is surprising.
We'll find out more if you're interested. But last week we had a lovely chat with Georgia, not with Georgia, she's from the Country Women's Association, from Lenore and from Roseanne, who lived in Pakistan. Roseanne is an author, and Lenore is here. Let's talk to you a little bit more about your life. Thank you for coming back again.
Thank you.
What's really fascinating is, as a child, coming from our country and our culture and civilisation, if you like, to suddenly go headlong into a completely different part of the world, different scenery.
But she was very little.
Yeah,
How old were you?
I was only 4.
But you'd already started to learn English here, you would assume.
Yes.
And then suddenly you're whisked off somewhere else,
Yes.
which is quite beautiful. Perhaps we should just put that in perspective, what it looked like when you arrived.
I actually don't have very much memory of the first initial time when we got there.
But it was snow there, and it's not snow here, for example.
Yes.
Like this.
There we are. That's the family.
Yes.
Gosh, you had your hands full, Roseanne, didn't
did.
you? How old was the youngest?
6 months.
Wow, that's extraordinary.
We should just explain also, if you missed last week's program, that the whole family moved, first of all, to do some work in the UAE, but in order to speak the language, your husband, who's a plumber, needed to go across to Pakistan to learn the language. There's the family.
Yes. Oh, there we are.
And so after you completed the work in the UAE...
We went back to Pakistan because we bonded with Pakistan.
And this is in the compound that you lived, and you were saying before, this is the van that took you everywhere.
Everywhere, my dad loved it. Yeah, he
And it sounds like you
over
did too.
more than a 4-wheel-drive. He thinks it's the best.
Did you sleep in it?
Well, sometimes we had. Did we have to sleep sometimes?
When you went away?
Well, maybe just on trips.
Yeah, that's
going
what I
to
mean.
boarding school and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so your life then was, apart from the fact you were living in the compound and your education was still happening, you were living with children who were obviously local children.
Yeah.
So how did that change your perspective in life generally now that you've returned with those formative years of learning?
Yeah.
Did you start to learn the culture?
Yeah, learn the culture, and I think that you learn ways of communicating when you don't know the whole language, with someone use a lot of hand gestures, and you learn the importance of a smile, and so always now when I see people of different nationalities in the shops, you always give them a smile and that eye contact, and it just, you're welcome.
Lovely.
It's really good.
Yeah.
That's an interesting comment, give them a smile. We often forget to do that. And we were saying last time too, the fact that in Australia there are a lot of refugees coming from that part of the world. How do you feel when you hear the things that we're sort of doing to refugees now in this country?
A bit ashamed, actually. Especially when Germany's taken in so many, and they're such a small country, and we've got so much space. And I remember when we were living in Pakistan, and the people we were living around had very little, but they would give everything away, and we learnt very quickly not to say that we liked something. If I said, "Oh, that's very beautiful," they would think I wouldn't have one, so they would give it.
Imagine that.
Yeah, it does.
That's true, that's so true.
And the people with less always give more. You know, it's very...
You find that though. I mean, we find that here. I think, you know, there are people like that in our communities too that are like that, very giving.
Yeah.
So
I think when there's bushfire relief or any of those sorts of things in our country, it's the people with the least money, the ones who keep giving. But these are the conditions, obviously, people are living there. This is a street where?
In Rawalpindi.
Rawalpindi.
And that would be markets along the side of the road?
I think so.
And is that your family in the front?
Could be a tea shop. That's the children.
Yep.
And that was one of the early, one of our early impressions of
Let's look at some more of
Rawalpindi.
these lovely photos because it gives us a better understanding of the culture.
Children quite often have to work because I asked the man, I said, I hope this is not a forced labour factory. Oh no, ma'am, sir. No, these boys are getting a wage and they go home every night and we let them play soccer. I hope it was all true.
they're all so little though.
They're
How old would they be?
They 6 or 7, but they have the smaller fingers that would tie the tighter knots for the most expensive carpets. Women also can make the carpets, but I thought how nice it would be if they were in school myself.
Yes.
But they may very well have a sick father or no father at all.
Yes.
And they
So
might be
there's
keeping
support.
the wolf from the door
Yes.
in more ways
For
than
the
one.
whole family.
For more ways than one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's very family-orientated culture, and young people are taught that the family matters more than themselves, whereas it's the opposite here in some cases. But we saw young people, if a boy had a job after work, that money would come straight back into the home for other people in the family, and he wouldn't dream that it was for him. You know,
Was to actually get to
It's
the family.
incredible.
Yeah.
There's some more here. This rather interesting place, and I love the moon.
Yeah, my husband did that. The mosque. So living under Sharia law, I guess, in Pakistan was very, very interesting to perhaps keep 2 rules. When you did, people respected you, and I learned to respect the religion there as well. But I wouldn't have changed because I like my own, and I was able to keep my own religion there because we were Western, I guess. But a Muslim person finds it very difficult if they change from being Muslim.
But the school that we looked at too, I think there was a picture before of you. It was a Christian school that you
Yes.
went to.
Yes,
A
it
lot
was
of
a
aid
boarding
workers.
school.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one here.
Yes.
Yes.
So was that just for Western children or was that for anybody?
Anybody.
Anybody.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Western teachers?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
okay. And there's a great shot of you here in what I think is a school play. Is that... What was that?
That was a church nativity
Oh,
play.
nativity.
When
Oh, I
she was-
see. The
when she
Three
was
Kings,
little.
I get that.
Yeah,
Yes.
she was little.
The Three Wise Men.
Yeah, but it was a play.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful that you can now look back on this part of your life and enjoy the experience of
Yes.
both cultures
Yeah.
to understand how much we all need to grasp
Yes.
that we don't all have to think
Yes.
the same. We don't all have
Yeah.
to do the same.
That's right.
As you've grown up, how have your thoughts of life changed, do you feel?
By being over there.
Yeah.
I think more compassionate and being more content with what I have. Very important.
Did you
Yeah.
start to move into the different ways of the culture?
Yes, and as one of the initiations or something is with girls get their nose pierced.
Ah.
Were you ready
And
to
so
do that?
I did.
She did
and
it.
I said to
Tell
my
him
father,
how.
I would like to do that. And we're in an Afghan restaurant, and I love the Afghan restaurants because you sit on the floor, beautiful, and the food is so delicious, isn't it? Anyway.
Because of the spice?
And
Yeah.
it's just so tasty.
But see, for a young person, that's unusual too, because most kids in our country,
Would back away from it.
Yeah.
They wouldn't
because
want
of
to
the
know.
blandness of a lot of the hamburger type
Yeah.
food.
Yeah,
that
and
we
my daughter, she's 11, she's a bit fussy. But to get your nose pierced, so Mum took me into a jeweler, and he took me in the back room, and
With
he's...
Mum.
Yep. And we said we want the nose pierced. Oh, all right. And he made a comment, and then he got a piece of metal, but like the silver, sharpened one end, and he used aftershave to put on my nose, and then he just Stuck it through.
Fabulous.
Ouch!
But I
She
didn't
went so
scream.
pale, so pale.
Very brave.
Is
She
that-
wanted it.
At what age is that normally done?
Yeah,
13, by the time they're 13.
13.
Because when you get married, you get such beautiful gold jewellery put on your face.
Yes, to hang
One
from
thing
your
goes through the nose. So if you don't have your nose pierced, you can't wear it. So everyone has it done before they're married.
Was that part of fitting in with your friends over there for you?
I think it gave a lot of inroads for Mum when she was visiting to see, because people could see that we were taking a part of their culture
Yes.
on, and
Interesting,
they would see that as accepting.
Yes.
Although we already were accepting of them, they would see that as you're actually doing something like us. But I did it because I thought it was pretty.
So from the initial thing of your mum telling you stories wherever you went, so you didn't get sick or it took your mind off the travel, to writing books. How many have you written?
24. And one of those was with Lenore. So, and we have another one with the publishing house at the moment, while they're deciding about a black leopard.
Okay. And when you came back home, you didn't come back to live in a city, did you? Because you live actually out of the city here.
We did in the beginning.
Oh, did you?
We came back to, we had a house in Salisbury, and we came back to that house, and it was helpful while the kids all went to uni to, and we had Mum and Dad living with us. We built on, they helped us build on and everything.
Did it strengthen your family, the experience of being over there, when you
Yes.
talk about Mum and Dad living with you?
Yes, because in Pakistan everyone does look after their mum and dad, and like as about family is just so important. And I mean, even sons bring their wives home to live with mum and dad and everything. So
You know, it's interesting because when I was a kid, that was more the way we lived in the Adelaide Hills here.
Yeah.
But it's been so lost. This sort of family culture thing has been so lost.
Yeah.
It's been great you sharing your lives with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been
Great
fascinating.
success
Thank
with your
you.
books in the
Yeah.
future.
Thank you.
Because
Thank
it's a lovely slice of another world, if you like, that you're creating for
to
us.
bring understanding, so
Absolutely.
that kids won't be frightened of people who are different. Like my kids are not frightened of anyone who's different from them.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
so
for
much.
sharing.
Thank you
Who's
very
coming up next, Janice?
Who is coming up next? Me.
Yes. With the girls from the CWA.
Yes, that's right. Stay with us, please. I have Georgia Ross with me, and she is the president of the Adelaide branch of the Country Women's Association.
That's correct, yes.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
President, now you seem awfully young to be a president.
Yes, I get that a lot.
Sorry.
It is. No, I think it's common misconception that everyone in the Country Women's Association is grey-haired and about 90.
Yes.
Yes, so not so much anymore.
Okay, so how did you become involved then?
It was 2 years ago, so October is the Adelaide branch anniversary, or our birthday, and a few of us were approached, I think because of our love of baking.
Yes.
So were asked if we were interested in maybe opening a new branch that met of an evening to suit younger women and working people. So went along, and that's what happened.
So how many are involved?
In the Adelaide branch,
Yes.
we're about 55 strong, 60
wow.
strong.
Okay.
Yeah, ranging in age. So our youngest member has just turned 21, and I guess the eldest would be those that have recently retired and looking for something to do.
Okay.
So, yeah.
But it is to do with baking. What is the...
Well, Country Women's Association, I think, are known for their scones and their cakes and all of those sorts of things. So there's definitely a common interest there. But I guess also craft and just like-minded women who like
enjoy
those...
that sort of thing.
Yeah, like those sorts of things, and come together and share knowledge, learn from the older generation, because they are still about in the Country Women's Association. So fantastic.
This is some of the craft that we're looking at now, Georgia.
Yes.
And what is it exactly?
That's actually my bookmark, but that was our table day. So the ladies competed just in our own branch, and one of the the categories was a beginner's bookmark. So
Okay.
that's a skill I learnt through our branch. So someone taught us, and that's what I did.
Fantastic. And this, what are we looking at here?
So the Adelaide branch do some catering, and we catered for the Hot 100 wine event last year.
Right.
And we did a dessert bar. So this is part of that dessert bar. That's a beautiful cake done by one of our ladies, Mim.
That's an amazing cake.
And this was also part of that catering.
They look
So
fantastic
Lady Alice
too.
biscuits.
It's making my mouth water. Oh,
Our favourite, fresh mandarin tartlets, and they were also used at a function in the winery, different winery.
Yeah.
So it was great.
and jams too.
Yeah, there's a big thank you there. So the Adelaide branch have a relationship with the Metropolitan Fire Service, and they came and did some judging of a scone competition that we did, and we always send them home with scones
Very
and
happily.
jam
Oh,
and
fantastic.
cake or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's lovely.
Oh. Now I have to show you this because this has taken, did you say 2 years to put together?
It has, yes, and it's just
not-
come together.
It's a beautiful book that's just recently been released.
Yes, yes.
Now, it's got some beautiful cakes. I can't actually show you. There's just absolutely beautiful photography in there too.
Amazing.
But so where can we find this? If I can actually hold this up so that you can see, where will it be available?
So the calendar of cakes is available through the South Australian Country Women's Association. It is also available online through the Wakefield Press.
Yeah.
And you'll find it in bookstores as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's quite a great achievement for us ladies.
Oh, look, congratulations, because it's a beautiful book. I always, when at the Country Women's Association, are you always looking for members?
Always looking for members, and so I think this is why the Adelaide branch started in the first place, was to really increase and begin that resurgence of members into the Country Women's Association. There's been other branches started since. So Narracourt recently opened a branch, and they have about 51 young members.
Do they really?
And also the Granite Ladies over near Woodner have opened. The Stirling branch opened, and they're all directed at younger members. And when I say younger, just probably anyone under 80. So we have a real resurgence of people early retirement now looking for something to do and want to share their knowledge and their skills.
Yes.
So my mum lives in a lifestyle village, and there's a lot of ladies there that are really keen to start their own branch down
Well,
south.
that's wonderful.
So yeah, it's really taken off.
Do you often get together then as groups, or not really? Do
no.
you share, your story?
No, so Adelaide branch, we're really keen to connect with other branches. So recently we did a road trip to Coomanduk, and the ladies over there took us in for the weekend, showed us some skills in baking and in craft. So that's great. We try to visit other branches. The Royal Show, where we have the Show Cafe, all the ladies from across the state come over, and that's really a good chance to get to know each other.
Yes, I'm sure.
And then we have a thing called State Council. So that's where all the business from Country Women's is discussed, and everyone from across the state comes over.
Yeah.
So it's a lovely way to get to know other members.
Absolutely wonderful. I
Yeah.
think that's fantastic. So if anybody's looking for something to do, if you're bored and would like to do something, the Country Women's Association is probably something you might like to try,
Yeah.
to share your skills. Because, as you say, it's craft as well as cooking.
Yes, yeah, and like-minded individuals, but it doesn't mean that you have those skills. So you saw earlier my bookmark. I'm not a crafty person at all. So someone taught me that.
So to become involved, also then you learn the skills from
That's
other
right.
people. What a lovely thing to do.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's beautiful. It's great.
So, and also just learn to cook some of these beautiful cakes.
Yes, yeah.
Congratulations, it's been lovely talking to you.
Thank you.
And all very good luck with the book. I shall certainly be looking out for that one.
Fantastic.
Now, please stay with us as Mark McBrighty is talking with Malcolm, so don't go away.
repeat this after me. Fraudulent fundraising. Say that 5 times quickly. Mark McBride is here, who's the Managing Director of Home Instead Senior Care. And we've been talking in the past about computer frauds. Not to worry people about using their computer, because it's one of the greatest tools that's ever been invented, but it's not just through the computer that you can have a fraud.
Absolutely not. I think we had some horrible bushfires in South Australia not very long ago, and I think within 2 days there were people knocking on doors claiming to be raising funds for the SES, etc. There are a lot of people out there that are claiming to work for organisations, and it really is incumbent on you to test the bona fides, is to make sure that the person is from the organisation. And if you have any doubt, if it's Red Cross or any other organisation, ring them up, get the number of the person that was at your door and see if they are bona fide. And if you'd like to make a donation after that, please do so. But we'd like to ensure that your generosity finds its place and that 100% of what you put in goes to its stated, and quite often there are people out there that are lifting 50 and 60% and then passing the rest on, or indeed lifting 100% and not passing anything on. So
well, things have changed, whereas fundraising used to be everything went. There are costs involved in fundraising, which we accept.
Absolutely.
However, it's that face-to-face thing at the front door when somebody comes to you and says, I'm collecting for the poor children somewhere or the bushfire appeal or whatever, and your heart naturally feels, I want to help. What can I do to help? The only thing I can really do is give money. So how do you still feel good about the fact that you have a desire to do that and put the person off and make them go away?
And look, it's about, if that's a cause that you would like to support, then ring up that organisation and either via cheque or via an online donation, make that donation. It's a tax-deductible donation. Quite often you'll be hit up at the front of a shopping centre or someone door knocking on your door asking for your donation. And there are, we always have the Red Cross knock appeals. There's some wonderful causes out there,
which are quite well marketed, so you know it's going to happen.
Very well branded.
Yep.
But outside of that, I just advise a very strong word of caution to make sure if you do want to be a benefactor for an organisation, go directly to them. It cuts one person out and makes sure that the funds go where they're intended.
To the right place. Great. Thank you. It's just we always just need to be aware that not everybody is as honest as we are.
It would be nice to think that was the case, but unfortunately that's why seniors get targeted, because we come from an era when your handshake was your word.
We do, yes.
And we expect people to be honest and to be forthcoming, and unfortunately that's not the case with some people out there.
Okay, but there's still good people out there. So again, as we've been saying with the internet, just make sure you check it out before you give it out. Thanks, Mark. See you soon again.
Thanks, Malcolm.
There are some people you meet, and it just makes me think there are some extraordinary people in this world. Roseanne Hawke, the life that she's had.
I thought you were talking about me.
No, but I just thought, what a brave woman to have taken a young family like she did to Pakistan.
Incredible.
And fascinating.
Great way to be sort of positive and live your life to be positive, which is one of the things that I think we're losing in our society, that we've really got to watch out for. Everything seems to be negative. We've had a lot of negativity in politics and just general living, and at the moment everybody's very negative about having sugar, for example, and it's very hard to work out what's right and wrong.
True.
To whether you should cut it out of your diet completely, or whether you should have a little or none at all. What do you do?
But Lenore also was saying, it's just this, when people don't have much, they tend to give more.
Isn't that true?
It just, I think, there was a lot there to take in and a lot to think about.
Well, and the fact that her daughter is sort of also giving her the ideas for the future.
Stories.
For the future.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to reading that book.
Oh, me too.
I'm not a great fiction reader, but I like, true stories about real people and how they've lived and what they've done in their life. And again, that positivity thing often comes through, because people that get to that point that they want to tell their life story, it's got to have some sort of positive stuff in it to get the reader really to keep reading the book.
No, that's true.
Speaking of reading, we'd just like to remind you that, we've talked about the scams on the internet and so on. But in reality, it's one of the best tools. We live in such an exciting time because the world is at our feet, our fingertips, at the libraries of the world.
And so fast.
Oh,
the things that we can
amazing.
find out about that used to take, it was like I said to somebody today, to get a tradesman, you would have to make a time, whereas now you can actually get a quote.
Yes.
Over on your
because they're carrying
computer.
around
That's it.
a pad so they can give you...
So much quicker.
But also, just to ask Google something, for example, and you can find out... Somebody wanted to know today with me how much wattage was put out from their solar panels, if that's the right expression. And I said, don't ask me, I wouldn't have a clue, just ask Mr Google. And she did, and she was amazed with the result.
Okay.
Now, she's a bit older than me and not used to using the internet to the same extent, but you use the internet all the time, don't
Yes,
you?
I do.
Yes,
Yeah,
and so do I.
Very
In fact, I haven't had a letter from anybody for so long, I can't remember. And I don't send Christmas cards anymore.
Usually
either.
bills that come in my letterbox.
But even the bills now are coming through the internet.
Well, that's true.
But just talking about the internet, don't be afraid. Use it because it's just the greatest tool. That we are lucky to be alive at this time. And I keep thinking back to when reading and writing became a reality for people in the previous 16th century or so, and we're living through that Renaissance time again.
But it's a shame our children are actually learning the art of writing.
Yes.
I don't think
Backwards.
they tend to use iPads at a very young age. I don't know if that's
I'm
a good
losing
thing.
it. I'm losing it.
Losing what?
Being able to write. Listen, we should talk about Facebook because we would love you to connect with us. We'd like to know what you think about the program, whether you'd like to see anybody or any particular subject on the program, because we'd love to bring that to you because it's silly us standing here without knowing what you want. So don't be afraid to talk back to us.
Absolutely. We hope you can join us again next time on our time.
So keep yourself nice till next time we meet.
Take care.
Bye.